match is now officially a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
I can see my fantasy, I'm so consumed in bed. What I see takes over me, I'm blind beyond repair.
I know what everybody's thinking. How am I sitting here? How am I sitting upright? What happened?
Find out later on this episode of Dragon Ball Z.
It's a fair enough point. Wow.
Fuck, I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
I know. You know what's amazing is our eyes are open somehow.
Mm-hmm. Especially after 18 fucking holes of golf this morning.
Yeah, we've spent 5 hours on a golf course and a very nice day though for it. Not sunny,
Beautiful
so
day.
we're not sunburnt. That was a nice touch.
Some overcast.
But we all know why everybody's here. Everybody's here because they want to hear us talk about this weekend in wrestling. And
who are we? I'm Clinton Davis. You can find me at PK Batman. To my right,
Ethan Hubbard. You can find me at Jensen Collins 3 on Twitter, and you can find us at On a Forklift Pod on Twitter, as well as On a Forklift Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and On a Forklift Wrestling Pod on Twitch. We are no longer at the previous location. However, it's the same great show that you guys know. It's the same great show that everybody loves. So welcome to what is amounting to actually be our 1 year show.
woo!
1 full year of listening to two fuckos talk about wrestling for 45 minutes to an hour and a half a week. And we appreciate it. We honestly, we couldn't be happier to be here. I know it doesn't look like it, but we're just fucking worn out from this weekend. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, of 18 holes was definitely a refresher course. I played probably the best game of my life today.
He did. The last 4 holes, Clint played amazing.
My drives were on point. My iron game needs some work.
You know what, though? Everything, hey, here's the important thing. Other than literally one shot, everything went forward down the field.
I agree, Implish. There's no more pay-per-views that are over 8 matches. I'm too old.
No.
I'm also too old for pay-per-views to run it until midnight on a Sunday.
You know what it is? It's not the and so we talked about this a lot. We went real in depth on this. It's not the quantity of the matches, it's the quality. If you're going to give me 8 quality matches, and they don't have to be 20 minutes apiece, but 8 quality matches. Jade and Athena was perfect quality-wise for the time that it spent, and I'm fine with that. So if that was a match that you wanted to have and you had something else like that on the card to make up your 7th and 8th matches, cool. But 10, 11, 12, whatever it was, plus the 4 on the pre-show, that shit went on for 5.5 hours. It's fucking ridiculous.
There was more matches on All Out than both days of WWE events. But we'll get to all that because we're going to kick off this thing right away. Clash of the Castle was wonderful.
Fantastic.
One of the best pay-per-views of the year.
You're literally, you're not going to hear us say something. I don't think I have anything negative to say about that show.
A match of the year contender on this show. I have notes. So
it set the fucking bar.
Set the bar for the whole fucking weekend.
Set the Clint, hit me with it. They are the bar.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to kick off with, I have notes here. Hold on. Yes. Amazing pay-per-view. Damn it, Sheamus. Pay-per-view. Oh, PvP. Yeah, it was a very good PvP match. We're going to go through Clash of the Castle, just the two of us. Russ will be on later to discuss All Out with us because I'm sure him and I are going to have some agreeances here today.
You're going to listen to us gush for about the next 30 minutes about this amazing pay-per-view, though. This thing was phenomenal. AJ Styles P1 fucking phenomenal pay-per-view. And the crowd made it even better.
And I only really have one grievance with this pay-per-view, so we'll kick into it. We kicked off with the 6-women tag between Damage Control, which is Bailey's crew now, versus, Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa. And let me say this, just for the entire weekend, women, you killed it. Your gear game was on fucking point all weekend. All weekend. We will cover everyone in here, but here in particular, Alexa Bliss, Io Sky, Dakota Kai. I don't know what it is with Bailey looking like she's getting ready to go grocery shopping in her outfit.
She looks like she's getting ready to deliver my shipped order, but then at the same time, I'm going to get kicked in the teeth. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Getting the first little glimpses of main roster Asuka versus Io, which is going to be great. There's a whole slew of matches you can do from these 6 women, but this 6-woman tag was pretty great. It was unoffensive. It was a good way to open the pay-per-view. It's a little, the notes I have here, it was a little sloppy in places. I love the fact that how strong Bianca looked, the fact that it took all 3 finishers from all 3 women to put her down, and Bailey got the pin. First time in 330 days. 330 days that Bianca has been pinned. So they make pinning Bianca feel like a big deal. Obviously, Bianca versus Bailey is going to be our next women's titles program for Raw. I'm okay with it. Not a damn thing I got wrong with this. Like I said, sloppy in a few places, but nothing offensive to me.
So we don't touch on star ratings for matches here, but what I do actually really appreciate is CBS Sports. There's a writer for CBS Sports, and he gives grades to matches. And looking at his grades for Clash at the Castle, I am very much in agreement with this. And I think the nice thing is that sloppiness in a trios match is almost expected. Like, there's so much going on that if there's not a little bit of slop, it doesn't feel genuine. So this guy gives it an A-. I would give it an A-. I thought this was a perfect match to open the show with. What we didn't see on camera was another 6-man tag match, or was another 6-person tag match.
I didn't watch it.
And, well, we didn't see it. It appeared it was in-house exclusive only, or it was across the pond exclusive. Really got this crowd hot for it, and the crowd was on fire when the ladies came out for this match, and it made it that much better. And they owned up to everything that this match was sold to be. I loved it. It was fantastic. Like Clint said, Bianca was booked super strong in it. Alexa, who was actually probably the weakest competitor in this group, she looked great. She hasn't had a lot of attention on her, and Dakota Kai got some real good shine on her as well, and real good crowd work with a large crowd that she's not used to going with. War Games is probably her biggest crowd that she's ever been in front of. So super excited for that. That was a great match and a great way to start off Clash.
I agree. Moving on to my match of the weekend. It's not even a contest. Gunther versus Sheamus was everything I wanted. What was that?
Take your soapbox.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to take the soapbox. I'm just going to gush. This was, in the terms of big meaty men slapping meat, it was great. From start to finish, from everyone brawling around him, Giovanni Vinci being brought back up, Imperium back together, phenomenal. Having the 4 dudes just brawl around Sheamus and Gunther as they refuse to move until it cleared out, because that ring is sacred to the both of them. First time Intercontinental title has been defended on pay-per-view since WrestleMania 37. So April of 2021.
Yeah.
This was a big deal match. These two beat the fuck out of each other. Chops, fucking hits, everything. It was nonstop violence for 20 fucking minutes. And it was glorious. It was the most violent match, the most violent singles match, I believe, that the main roster has ever had.
There might be 4 or 5 wrestling moves in this match. The rest of it is 2 dudes beating the living piss out of each other and doing it in the most theatrical way possible. This is probably the hardest hitting match since Zack Sabre and Gunther going at it, or Walter and that. I mean, Walter and Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, don't fucking forget that match.
Every time, and you know what? Fucking props to Sheamus, because Sheamus is one of those guys that got lost in the shuffle as like, can he really still do it, or is he built into that WWE system of wrestling? And you know what? He came out and if there's a Sheamus detractor out there, you got nothing to talk about. This dude came out there, put it on the line, had the match of his best match ever, match of his career.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's Gunther's because of the Ilya Dragunov match, but goddamn, was this Sheamus's best match, and no one's going to convince me otherwise.
It's not even it's not even the Ilya match that's his best. It's the Tyler Bate match.
Here's the thing: we can sit here and go, okay, which is his best, and we can name off 3 or 4 of them. If you ask me what was Sheamus's best match, the second match with him and Cesaro during that series of 7.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, up to that point, that's all we had. This match was, it's perfect. It's perfect. This is to Clash the Castle what Savage and Steamboat was to WrestleMania 3.
It was great, and to end with a clothesline, the most basic of maneuvers, but with Gunther, it looks like someone's fucking dying.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. 5 stars, best match of the weekend. You won't hear a single negative thing about me. I have already watched that match 3 times over. It's not going to get old to me.
No.
It's going to be in contention for my match of the year. I loved it so much. It was perfect. Perfect. It was perfect. Perfect. Everything down to the last minute detail. Everything.
It was so perfect that even though Imperium looks like the Germans from Pitch Perfect, it made it even better. He got the ring general coat back. The Imperium is back. Oh my God. What a match. It gave you goosebumps watching it live. It gave you goosebumps. Yeah, there was at a time that Clint looked at me and I thought he was going to chop me because he was so fired up. I'm like, no, not the titties. I don't want them today. But what a great match. What a great match.
It was fantastic. But we're going to move on to the next match. Nothing offensive about this match whatsoever. It was a nice palate cleanser match. It was Shayna versus Liv. Liv. Woo! Woo! That sensational Sherry gear. Woo! Almost had a fucking stroke in fucking Tony's living room. Oh, it was probably my fit of the weekend. It's close. There's a lot of good fits this weekend.
Jamie Hayter's probably selling it for me. That's...
But fucking Shayna and Liv, they went out there and they wrestled for 10 minutes. Nothing really to write home about. They attacked. Liv was attacking Shayna's arm. Shayna was attacking the neck. Liv protected the neck. And then she got the, the jawbreaker into the Oblivion for the win. Nothing offensive. This was your palate cleanser match. These women knew what they were going on after, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. To like keep the crowd awake.
As Wu-Tang said, protect your neck. And Wu-Tang is for the children, as everybody knows. No, what this match did what it needed to do. Liv Morgan has a history of kind of not showing up on pay-per-view matches, but I don't think it's her fault. I think it's how it's booked and who she's booked against. Shayna Baszler was a great choice for an opponent because she knows how to work with people who don't do that style. They want Liv to be able to work against somebody, and Rousey's the wrong person to put her against. However, I'm glad that she has the title still, but I think Baszler helps her work against Rousey in that style. The nice part is it's a serious competitor to go against Liv. Liv needed a good win against a serious competitor, and she still had that scrappy, like, face win. Like, it could have went either way. I thought it was great. Like Clint said, real palate cleanser of a match, but it definitely kept the crowd into it, kept everything moving along, and it served its purpose perfectly.
All right, and a little break in the review thing to go, hey, we're at 21 subs right now. I would really like to get to 30. And I know that's a lot to ask, but since Ethan was so gracious to give us the power bomb, what I'm willing to do is we found fluorescent light tubes down in Tony's basement, and I'm willing to let Tony crack 1 or 2 of them across my back for 30 subs. We're at 21 right now. I'm proud of her too. So if you guys can help us get there, Tony can break a light tube over my back, and we will bring you the table spot later. That's later. I need Russ here to do that. We got about another 15 minutes left in this review.
Oh, my goodness.
Which we then went on to Ray and Edge versus Judgment Day, which was probably the best match involving these 6 people. I loved Edge coming out in the fucking Mucha Lucha mask, looking like he's about to wrestle for honor, family, and donuts.
Oh, fuck, donuts sound delicious right now.
I love donuts, but we get sidetracked so often.
Yeah, but it's a comment about donuts. How are you not gonna get it sidetracked by donuts? Anyway, what a pop! What
and
a
also,
fucking
if you're on the fucking chat, please sound off. Thank you. We'd love to hear from you.
What a pop! What a pop for Edge too across the pond, man. They don't get enough interaction with a lot of the guys that you don't see all the time or people that come back because the tour doesn't hit there too often. And it's just wow, he blew the roof off that place after the crowd should have been tired. I want to say MVP of this entire show was the crowd.
Yes,
for staying in it.
I like the crowd. The crowd was pretty fucking stellar. Do a Mania over the pond. I'm okay with it.
So this match had one goofy little thing that happened in it. Edge hitting the Tiger Feint. That was a little strange.
Mm-hmm. Tiger Feint kick, but like the confusing ending was Dom helped Edge and Mysterio win, and then got in the ring, and then saw Edge and Mysterio celebrating their win, and got jealous and hoofed Edge right in the nuts, and then gave Ray a clothesline that Eddie gave Ray all those fucking years ago.
What a clothesline it was.
And then cut to Finn Balor and the rest of Chuckle Fuck Day. And they're all just sitting there cackling around like a bunch of hyenas. But Rhea looking fine as fuck.
Oh my goodness.
That's the one negative I have about this pay-per-view is I didn't get to watch it from under the boot of Rhea.
You didn't get to see more Rhea Ripley. Is that what your thing was?
Yeah, but it ended Ray Edge doing the fucking 619 was weird. It was weird. It was awful looking.
No, he's too tall to do it.
But it was good to see Ray and Edge team up again. They were part of the SmackDown 6. I loved it.
God, what a great group of guys.
So, thank you, Ethan Alabaster Hubbard, for donating a sub. We're at 22.
Oh no, you're never gonna hear the end of it now.
Fuck, you gifted a sub to my wife.
She's gonna tell you to come over there.
I hate my life. Anyways, now we move on to my little nitpick here. Because after that match,
let's hear it.
Came Riddle and Rollins. And here's my nitpick. They show the promo video beforehand where Rollins is just like, yeah, because aren't you divorced because your bitch ass, like your family doesn't want your bitch ass around and shit. And it's just fucking Riddle going, fuck you. Where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Cut to the ring. And it's coming him dressed like fucking Patrick Starr on a scooter smiling. Like, no, you're pissed off. Why are you coming to the ring smiling? You should be fucking infuriated at the fact that Rollins said this shit. And I'm not defending Rollins because Riddle had it coming. Riddle said some shit.
Oh, he did.
He did. He said some shit. And the two had a great fucking match. The kind of match you expect out of Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is a great worker and Riddle is a great worker. But I think the match would have been even better if Rollins was coming out first. He got halfway down the ramp, we're doing like the whoa thing, and he just fucking blindsides him in that fucking Elton John outfit.
What an outfit! What a fucking fit, man!
What a fit.
Holy shit!
Chef's kiss.
Oh,
ugliest fucking gear in the world, but it works.
Oh, it was so good. It was so Seth Rollins. That's the thing. Nobody else could have put that on and came out there like that. You've got. Hi, is this the Clash of the Castle? No, this is the Krusty Krab facing off versus fucking Demon
versus Elton the Piano John. Man. Fuck, that's Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's Billy.
Rocket
Joel.
Man.
Rocket Man. There you go.
I've got Billy Joel in the brain.
I know you have Billy Joel on the mind.
But the match was great. It ended with fucking Rollins busting out the avalanche stomp, which was wicked. Will you stop beating on yourself? We are live.
I understand, and I have twitches. I can't help it. I have RLS, and I'm major adult ADHD.
You have obesity.
I have what?
Nothing. But the match was great. I like I said, that little tweak, Rollins coming out first and Riddle like blindsiding him would have made it a little better. Just
a bit
better.
It's just his
message the group chat and let Russ know that we're going to be bringing him on in a minute.
Okay. His like outfit and stuff just didn't fit. It was weird. It was one of those weird things where you're like, yeah, you know, man, did we really? I just don't feel like it was planned out well. Like if that's the one knock on the card, we're nitpicking fucking hard. But that's a knock to me.
And we can move on to honestly the best moment of the night, the Broken Dreams. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. They rolled a minute of Broken Dreams out before fucking Drew came to the ring, and I nutted. I nutted so fucking hard. That shit was great. My notes here. Drew versus Roman was fantastic. Broken Dreams intro. Roman finally coming out to face someone alone. A slow build leading to some of the most heart-stopping false finishes we've seen in a while. That second Claymore got me before Solo Sikoa came out. Solo Sikoa came out, dropped Drew's neck on the rope. Roman hit the spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman winning was the right call. I understand that you want to put the belt on Drew in the UK. I get it, but Roman holding it's the right call because we all know it's going to be Cody.
Yeah, it is. I think so. I there was a lot of speculation, not speculation, but like fantasy booking on who's going to be the downfall of the bloodline. It's Solo Sikoa. He's going to be the downfall. I don't think it's going to be Sami Zayn. I don't think so. I think Sami Zayn's going to be the reason that the Usos lose the titles.
Hi, baby.
There you go.
How's it going?
So I think Sami Zayn's going to be the reason they lose the titles because I think Sami is going to be the one to set them up in a match with Kevin Owens. That's inevitably going to be the match for the number one contendership. They're going to be like, oh yeah, and he'll be like, don't worry, I found a guy. You guys will just you have to defend him on pay-per-view. It'll be okay. Out comes Owens, they win the titles. And that's the start of the decline, but I think Solo Sikoa is the one that really ends it. The name says it all.
By the way, Moochie, we're at 22 subs now. If we get to 30, my buddy Tony is going to break a fluorescent light tube off of my back. So sub, go donate everything. I want this to happen.
I'll donate stuff.
I want Owens versus Zayn. That'll be a great match. Well, no, yeah,
Samuel Owens Zayn,
El Generico and Steen. But the match was great. You know, it went 30 minutes. It was a slow build match. False finish o'clock, motherfucker. There was no Usos in sight, no Sami Zayn, because I don't want to make assumptions here, but I assume the fucking Usos can't leave the country.
Right.
It's one of them. So debuting Solo here was a good idea. Oh. Stick around for another 10 minutes. We're going to put Ethan through a table.
Oh, she just wants to abuse you. That's what it is.
Everyone hates me.
The other thing that I see is, and I hate reading into some people's opinions on things because it just feels like it goes too far. I thought this was as close to a perfect pay-per-view as possible. Mm-hmm. You hear people go, oh yeah, but that part at the end, it ruined it. No, in my opinion, once the actual wrestling portion is done, where the fuck happens after it? Who gives a shit? Tyson Fury comes out and swing it. Mind you, we got to talk about that a little bit here. But Tyson Fury.
Let me read my notes real quick. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Tyson Fury is now singing in the ring. What is going on? Why are we doing this? Why is Drew singing? Please stop. Oh, this is the Lex Luger effect. Top 5 pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about the singing. That doesn't bug me. Just it shit is what it is. It was crowd service. It basically they should have shut the cameras off and just let that fucking happen. The part that I do love is how we're booking this Austin Theory bit, because Austin Theory
he got fucking
his name now.
Starched.
Every single fucking time he goes to cash in, I just want to see him get fucking wrecked. I don't care how it is, different every time.
For those who don't know, Tony cannot deal with cringe at all, and that was so cringy he fucking left.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
Oh, hey, Trev.
And we were just talking about that.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Every single time Theory goes to cash that in, get knocked out by somebody different. Doesn't matter who it is. At some point, bring Bad Bunny back and have him fucking knock Theory out. It just every person. It's great. I like it. I like the shtick, and I think it's a good way to keep that to keep from pushing that too hard right away.
Yep. Also, since we have an audience here, up right above Ethan in the top right corner, you scan that QR code. It takes you to every fucking link we have. Follow us on everything. We're not funny. You can see our golf outing from earlier, where I fucking beamed a ball. Clash at the Castle. Fucked. Top 5 pay-per-view of the year. In my humble opinion. Hold on. Is there shit going on in the group chat?
Yes, I'm letting Russ know to hop on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, because once Russ gets here, we're gonna fucking hold on a second.
Show everybody how I went through the thing.
Have him.
I want that to be the celebrity bit. I want Austin Theory to get knocked out with celebrity bit all the time, but like credible people.
Russ said, "Let me heat up my buffalo chicken dip." A man of the people.
Absolutely.
He is MJF. He doesn't give a fuck about you guys. He gives a fuck about buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah, well, can you blame him? It is buffalo chicken. Dog. Let's talk about my wife's fucking calzone slider things yesterday that she made, those buffalo chicken pockets.
Dog, I'm still farting out all the cheese. I'm having to mute my mic intermediately because I just keep shitting my pants. I know it's super unattractive to people in here, but goddamn, it's the honest to God truth. We did nothing besides drink and eat for
2 days.
For 2 days. Like fucking Clash of the Castle ran from 1 to 4:30. We were partying until fucking 11.
Yep, and it was white people taco night. So
white people taco night. Yeah, the days were meant. I'm undefeated in darts. Come at me, everyone. I will start you.
Oh, hey, you know what we can talk about right after Clash of the Castle? WWE did something that AEW normally does, and that was a presser. However, during this presser, Seth Rollins continued to be the undefeated king of drip, because the fucking drip god, because he pulled out yet another Elton John inspired outfit, which was the Cupid tuxedo with the heart glasses. It's a sequined white tuxedo with pink hearts on it. If you guys have never seen that, go fucking look it up, because it is just...
Snap, crackle, pot.
Yeah, that's all I got for that.
Oh, fuck, God.
Man.
I'm dying. Let's hear from the audience. I want to hear from the audience. I want to hear how everyone's weekend was. We celebrated a lot, like I said. We're not drinking tonight. I'll say that much.
Hell no. Oh my gosh. How was everybody that watched? What's your favorite bit? What was your favorite part? Could be anything. Could have been a line set on commentary. We're all game for it.
My favorite bit of this weekend was Kevin Bingo.
Oh, oh my god. So our buddy that does not come on here, doesn't show his face, which is fine. We get it. Clint and my wife did the absolute most amazing thing ever. And created a bingo game of Kevin's sayings, his sayings, facial expressions, things like that, just to see if it would work, and it fucking worked.
Let me go over the appropriate things that I can say on this. Give me 1 second. Where is it? I texted it to someone. Oh, fuck me. I texted it to people.
You did. It's in the, if you go to our...
Yeah, I got it. Mentions Chris Chan. Big Chris Chan. We're big Christorians, if you will.
Christorians, yeah.
Fucks harder, because he would normally say fucks harder, and then he follows it up with something like harder than any man I've ever been with. Mentions Balto. He gassed Ethan's wife, because he does that a lot. They gaslight the fuck out of each other. He screams, "Ooh!" which Liv Morgan came out, and we all...
Oh, the Liv and Rhea. Oh God, I thought you were gonna have to pull Kevin off the ceiling.
There's some in here I can't say, but my favorite bit that has ever come out of Kevin was WrestleMania 37, where Tamina came out to the ring. He was like, Tamina, the 5th star classic, and that has been our bit for the worst matches of the night.
It's not all 5 stars. It's just
a 5th star. One. It's just the 5th one. All right, I don't know what Russ is, but we got like
messaged us.
We got like 12
almost people. Ready. Pleased to meet ya. Pleased to meet ya. Please to me. I don't know. Whatever the fuck he's saying. It must be Philly speak.
Yiddish.
It's not fucking Yiddish. You get super salty if it was Yiddish.
No, I wouldn't. I would love to learn Yiddish. I just don't have the patience to learn another language. I would love to listen to Little Big and understand what the fuck they are saying in Russian, but I do not have the fucking fortitude to do it.
I'm not alcoholic.
Is it the Fivers right to the song since that's what we could afford? I don't know. I'm trying to get in contact with Billy Joel to use Pressure as our new theme song, but talks have been pretty stale.
Are you getting Tony Khan to foot that bill for that fucking licensed song as well?
Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate you. Thank you for the sub.
Hey, how want you mean?
We had a lot of fun with you too, Tubbs. We're really glad that you were there. The Meat Man Tank coming soon to On a Forklift.
Are you gonna bring that?
What?
Are you gonna do it? The Trevor bit?
What Trevor bit?
The Trevor bit that we talked about today. The Trevor.
I was high on the golf course with you. I don't remember.
Oh my god, Implishes the Trevor bit when we were on the 17th hole when we were looking for your ball.
Oh, and he threw the club.
No, not that one. No, that was earlier in the thing. You started singing some song about Trevor and
it's the Magical Trevor song.
There you go.
Like from fucking like the Newground shit. Like everyone loves Magical Trevor. The tricks that he does are ever so clever. Look at him now, disappearing a cow. Where is it now? Where is the cow? And if you remember that, you're old enough to be my friend.
Here's the problem. I was never on Newgrounds. I hung out in E-Bombs.
Trevor even knows, but badger.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, we've got 11 people in here, it says. So let's run.
Please hope you guess mine. Oh, my God. I know what he's doing. This man is typing out. He's currently on the group chat typing out Sympathy for the Devil.
You guys are exhausting.
He's killing me. He's literally delayed. He's in here pulling a fucking MJF like he's winning a casino chip. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what this is.
Do I even have a poker chip to give him when he comes?
I have a white Batman. I'm the day. Oh shit, which one's this?
But what I do have a tech deck.
You have a tech deck?
You think you want a tech deck? All right, we're delaying everything for this fucking idiot. This idiot who is apparently writing the hardest quiz on steel cages you'll ever hear.
You fucked, man. What a... Why is he hitting this? Oh, man, I wish we had an 8-bit to come into that. This fucker probably has it dialed up.
All right, everyone. It's what you've been waiting for. Here you are. Here's Ethan's 20 sub goal reward. Enjoy. I did.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hi. This is it. This is what everyone fucking paid for. Put this stupid dumb motherfucker through a table. So Ethan, do you have anything to say?
Thanks to everybody for doing this. I made this and didn't expect it to happen, and then I got drunk and moved the goalposts, so now it's happening. The rest of that is, I'm Ethan from On a Forklift, so watch us Thursday nights on Twitch.
Nope, we're gonna do heel bump. Ready? Yep. Go ahead, get under.
Ready? Yep.
Storm.
We love you, Judy.
I was mad he sat up.
Oh my god, I know.
I wanted my friend to be hurt.
For the record, I'm feeling it a little bit.
Go ahead and talk for a minute. Go ahead and talk about it for a minute. I need to.
He's telling me, he's like, go ahead and talk about it for here. So look, here's the deal. I scrounged and I was scrounging Facebook Marketplace and in the depths of Craigslist to find an actual table. And I couldn't find one that was a reasonable price or one that I would like. The hoarder in me goes, hey, if I find a decent table for a decent price, I don't want to break the thing. So I was trying to find a shitty table for a decent price. Couldn't find one. So I decided, you know what's going to work? 7/16 thick OSB. So that's what we went with. And actually hurt a lot more than it was. I'm always, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm always going through something, whether it's a table, depression, something. I'm going through it.
Dog. If we get to 50 subs tonight, and I'm talking like you guys got to get us 50 subs like in the next 45 minutes. We're at 23 right now. If we get to 50, I will let Tony powerbomb me through a table with Legos and thumbtacks. We need 27 more.
Wow.
Who wants to do it?
That's
Hey, Russ. I thought you were going to have a mask on, honestly.
I looked for my Lucha Libre mask. I couldn't find it anywhere, so,
Trevor said no. Well, then you just won't be there as I go through this. I have Legos in my closet. They're like me. They're like everyone who thought I was in high school.
I mean, you know how many Legos are in my basement.
A lot. But, Russ, we waited to talk about this pay-per-view with you. First of all,
that so much.
How was your Labor Day weekend?
I worked a lot. So
I imagine football and everything.
Yeah, the launch of legal online sports betting in Kansas last week. That was something. Caesars Sportsbook launched in Pennsylvania. That was also something. And now we've got NFL Week 1. So my life is chaotic, but good chaos. My life is better now though because the best money drawing human being in the modern era is back.
So here, let's do this. Let's do this real quick because we're already about 40 minutes into this show. So let me bring up my notes and we'll go by this.
Love the notes.
Here's
this guy.
Real quick interlude here. This fucker drafted Harrison Butker in the first round in our fantasy draft.
A kicker. I do it every year, and I always finish top 2.
But just imagine if you took somebody good in the first round, like you would win. You would have to win.
He did win one. He did win one year.
That's what that is. That's the 2020-2021 fantasy football trophy.
Hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
But I want to talk. There's only one thing. I'm going to just sum up the pre-show like this. Mm-hmm. Ty and Sammy are unsafe. I hope Ruby's okay. Fucking, what was it? Kip and Pac didn't need to happen. Hook and Angelo Parker didn't need to happen. The only match that genuinely had any significance to it on the pre-show was Ishii versus Kingston, which was great.
Stupid.
They tried to imitate Walter and Gunther and Sheamus from the night before, and they didn't do it. But I thought it was good. Stupid. So we'll go right into the casino ladder match, which the notes I have here, and then we can discuss. I like multi-person ladder matches, but this take on Money in the Bank doesn't work. The match serves 2 purposes, and that's spots and to bring in a Joker. It was an overbooked mess, ending with AEW debuting their retribution.
Wow.
Joker won without even having been involved at all. Now that we know what happens at the end of the night, it makes more sense. But in that moment, that was just a glorified spot fest for 7 dudes for one dude to just come out and grab the chip. Not just one dude. 7 dudes to come out and grab the chip. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't a good way to... I mean, now looking back at it, great way to start off the pay-per-view, but in that moment, horrible way to start off your pay-per-view.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how you could be so critical of a match that is fundamentally AEW.
I've always been critical about their casino ladder match. I think it's a dumb concept.
I thought this one was actually okay. I didn't have an issue with this one, and there are a few reasons for it. One, on a fundamental level, I can understand the thought process of like it really was a spot fest, and it was. But like, you did a couple of things here. You did something for once that was actually intelligent. you put a bunch of guys into this match that conceivably could have gone for a world title shot. You didn't have that many fringe guys. Like Andrade, I could make the case on any given day should be elevated to a higher position on the card. Penta's been a champion in Mexico. Ray Phoenix, same thing.
Roosh is a former
I-
Ring of
like-
Honor champ.
Roosh, exactly. Dante Martin, no. Dante's there for the spots, right? I mean, Phoenix is too, but like realistically,
But he made the best of his spots too.
he certainly did. And so it's like Claudio, you've got the Ring of Honor world champ, current, also makes sense. You know, from a logistics standpoint, getting these guys paid, getting them their bonus for being on a pay-per-view, sure. But like this, I think, arguably, now I don't have every list of every, casino ladder match they've had in the company's history, but I would say this was about as good and as stacked of a lineup as you could have had. And you also had Yuta the peer champion. So like there were enough guys in this match to conceivably say, all right, one of these guys could challenge. And I think I told you guys going into it, I thought it was going to be Samoa Joe as the Joker. And so it would have also made sense for Samoa Joe to be a guy at that certain level who also fits and is a reasonable expectation that like he would win, even based on the field. The way that they got out of this by using the Stokely group, the MJF group, is brilliant in that the blindsiding allows you to take the most credible person, Claudio, and actually neutralize him. So, glorified spot fest, setting up for later. I think it was pretty obvious the second that Stokely revealed himself that that's exactly what this was going to be. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was fine. It was a means to an end. I think you can make the argument that this is more of like a Dynamite angle. The idea of bookending a show like this, we have not seen AEW do this. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just different. It's not something that we're used to seeing them do. But I think it made sense.
It's weird to me, and I'm just looking at this from an injury standpoint of what those guys in the match did. I'm not sure that I just don't know if a ladder match was the right call for the type of match to use the Stokely thing, to use the angle to get your Joker across in. However, I understand it because then they don't have to do any work. Like, and that's the entire thing of the character that comes out later is the least work possible to get to the desired conclusion.
It's the only way, right? Like because if you had gone, say, like Casino Battle Royale or Casino Battle Royal, like it wouldn't have worked, right? Because you have to be eliminated by somebody who's actually in the match. Mm-hmm. So unless you had somebody like a W.
Well, and it wouldn't have worked on them anyway because theirs always goes down to the last two, and then the two go into a match, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle
the
Royal.
Dynamite doesn't. But like, I think this is fine. I genuinely I found the match entertaining.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I thought hold on. I thought the match leading up to the finish was great. I thought the spots were great. I thought the Claudio ladder spot where he actually dragged it. I know it wasn't what he had planned, but that motherfucker was so strong he dragged Andrade on the ladder over to the end and dumped him on the outside. I thought the splash from the top rope to the outside through a table on the same time as the fucking
the Fenix on a Roosh.
Yeah, I thought the Lucha Bros taking out Los Ingobernables was fucking awesome. Dante had great spots, especially taking that fucking destroyer on the ramp from Penta right when he came out. Yeah. That was great. There was so
the
many,
destroyer on the ladder too. Penta on Andrade.
That's what I was saying. Was it a destroyer? I thought it was. It was a destroyer, not a package pile driver.
He did the destroyer on the ramp, but also on the ladder across from the ramp.
So like I have a lot of good things to say about it because I've watched the pay-per-view twice over because fuck, I'll be real with you. A lot of my notes from yesterday are I'm so tired. As you saw in the chat. But I thought the ladder match was great. It's just that in that moment I hated that finish.
Yuta got folded up too, real bad.
Yuta died. We'll move on to the next match because we can just keep this thing rolling. If you have anything else to add real quick.
No, it's just going to be that in the moment I felt like it was underwhelming, right? Like the reveal was confusing at first. I expected it, but I thought we were just going to get music. I didn't think that we were going to get a Stones song, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was, I thought it was like incredibly obvious from the second MJF came out that that's who it was. I wonder if it would have been better if the music hits, if they like do the Joker and the music hits and then the group comes out and causes chaos while the music is starting initially, and then you don't have as much of a delay until he actually comes out.
I thought it was real interesting. Like
Is
at
Clint
first,
dying?
how
What happened over there?
he's going with his fantasy book.
Oh my god. Damage control's out to the ring right now. I got Raw on the TV over here. My gee golly willikers, Batman. Fuck.
I like, so we sent you that video. I'm losing my shit in the living room, right? Because I'm seeing him walk to the ring, and I see the thing that sold it for me to know exactly who it was. I'm not saying I'm a fucking prophet or anything. He gets on the ring and he does that one big leg sweep, and I seen the red bottoms.
The wiping
on
the
shoes.
feet too. Yeah, the red.
Yeah.
You called the red bottoms. The wiping of the feet on the shoe, or
Yep.
the wiping of the feet on the apron, was a tell. But you're right.
I saw the red bottoms and I was like, that's Long Island money, boys. That's fucking MJF. There's no one else that's coming out wearing that shit that wasn't in the match. So the finger wave after that, yes, but leading up to it, that's what that, and then we got to throw in the fact that obviously Discovery, Time Warner, HBO, whatever the fuck it is, owns Game of Thrones, so they had the Night King mask.
So let's just stop talking about this
That's
because
not
we're
what that
obviously
was it?
we're obviously gonna be talking about this later after the main event. So let's roll back to this once we have let's get through more of the pay-per-view.
Okay.
Been on this one.
Let's go to the fucking empty-headed fuck.
Yeah,
and his team.
Okay, so here's the notes I have. The Trios Championship was spectacular. 2 years of stories culminating in this match. What a showing from Silver, and I feel like we say that every time he has a spotlight match. Kenny and Hangman killed it. My favorite spot of the match was when they were staring each other down, and then they dragged their partners to the corner to tag themselves in and go at it. And for a minute, it really felt like Full Gear 2021 again, and everything was peaceful in AEW, and there was no drama, and everything was cool. Like, the biggest drama was Kingston and fucking Punk fighting. But the Silver near fall on Kenny almost had me. Hangman was the one who put Silver away with the buckshot, hit him by accident. 1, 2, 3. The empty-headed fucking EVPs are your first Trios champions.
Oh no,
Great
no.
match.
I was going with the fucking empty-headed fuck was the quote about Hangman.
Yeah.
Well, he
But
said
yes,
something
he
about
did also say about the EVPs.
yes.
Ethan, what did you think of this match? Are you usually a Bucks guy? I feel like you're a Bucks
so
guy. You a Bucks guy?
I
You big Bucks guy?
enjoyed. I
You
really
like big
enjoyed.
Bucks and you cannot lie.
I really enjoyed the Bucks in Ring of Honor, and I really enjoyed the Bucks in the early AEW run. But as it's gone on, I've kind of reverted back to my old school like tag team thinking, and I would prefer to see the Acclaimed, the FTR, the stuff like the New Day, the stuff like that. Like that's my thing. Because I can see where the guys like feel like legitimate things, and the Bucks are kind of a spot guy. I don't like that you made titles to give to yourself when you did it with when I know that SCU was the original AEW champions, but pull some dude off the street and ask him who the first AEW champions are. They're going to go, oh, it's probably the Young Bucks. That's the thing. I think this needed to be the opponent, but it didn't need to be the Dark Order. This should have been House of Black. House of Black should have been in this spot instead of Dark Order. But now that we're kind of seeing like some yarns unravel across things and potential, like, you know, people being upset with stuff, I still don't think that the Bucks should have won. I think this should have been the Dark Order. But if this is your way of trying to get rid of the Dark Order, I can see that. I mean,
they couldn't get rid of the Dark Order fast enough, and they're not going to.
They're never going to.
No,
it's the Brody thing.
They could get rid of it, and it would be fine. Keep those guys employed. They realistically should have. The time that the Dark Order should have ended is when Hangman and the Dark Order they were in the fight against Omega and the Bucks, and I don't remember who else.
The Good Brothers.
And it was for, you know, if Hangman's crew won, he would get a shot at the world title against Kenny. And they did the spotlights coming down, and they had the empty one for Brody.
Yeah.
You guys remember this? And they all came out in the matching gear for the first time ever. And it was like, that was the really cool moment. And when he lost, that should have been it. Like, disband the Dark Order. We let Hangman down. Like, they could have just gotten out of it. And it just, every time they go back to this well, it just now you can't help but think about the guys that have moved on from the company since. You can't help but think about, Brody Lee when you think of the Dark Order, and it's like it's nothing like what it was when they first came in. It really is just kind of like a Hangman's Lackeys crew. And if this doesn't lead to like a turn, then I don't know what we're doing. And even if like this guy.
It's gotta
pause,
be. I just
pause that DVR.
Man, what?
You don't want me to.
This whole thing is screwed up because you had Cole injured, O'Reilly injured, Bobby Fish gone. So your undisputed era is fucking gone.
Yeah, Kyle Fish just went and got spinal fusion neck surgery, so he's going to be gone for a while,
if not ever.
Yep.
If he ever comes back.
So, well, you have that, and you haven't even addressed it. Like and AEW was pretty good about addressing issues in the locker room. They were pretty good about addressing things that came up, people leaving, things like that. They haven't done that with this. So there's a team gone. You had to bring in Aussie Open, who I think Aussie Open was the fill-in for those later. Guys. And I just don't get where the trios tournament was terribly booked, in my opinion. I think that they have the right roster to do it right, but they booked it wrong, and I don't think that the Elite should have won. And that's all I have on the rest of this match. That's it. That's all I have.
Osprey and Aussie Open gave a better match against the Elite and Kenny.
Because they're more talented. I love Johnny Hungy, but that's not his wrestling style.
Okay, one second. Because I'm the opposite. I fucking really enjoyed this match. I thought it was great. It was even better on a second viewing for me. I loved it. I love the fact that the finish was Hangman obliterating John Silver. I love that finish. Because the Elite didn't put him, because it was the Dark Order imploding on itself. That's how they...
But see, here's the thing. Like, in a way, they've like tried to elevate Dark Order in a way that I just don't think is deserved. Like,
you know what? What?
Reynolds, right? Reynolds is the one who picked up the pinfall on Malachi Black, which was absolute nonsense, right? In the was it the quarterfinal, the semifinal? He's the one to pin Malachi, which is insane. And now it's, John Silver gets knocked out by Hangman's buckshot, and that's the thing that turns the tide. Like, I'm sorry, John Silver, nice worker. Pretty much any finisher clean from any of the Bucks or Omega should put him away. You shouldn't need to have the quasi misdirect of the buckshot landing. I just don't think. I think you're like trying to elevate these guys to a position that they're not in.
I don't know. I think Silver and Reynolds are a great tag team. They do have a really good win-loss record. But you know what? We got all that out there. We can move on to the next match, which I feel was offensive as fuck. And now for the fact of the quality of the match, but the time of the match that we got. Jade and Athena for 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Fucked. That match was great. Here's the thing, because I did the math. The total time women had from bell to bell on this pay-per-view was 19 minutes and 40 seconds.
Did that include entrances or no?
No entrances included. That's bell to bell.
Okay.
So Athena and Jade went for 4 minutes and 20 seconds bell to bell. The women's title later went 14 minutes and 20 seconds. So they really had to think about 420 with these women today on the last night. But
maybe it's because Tony Khan's high as fuck constantly.
And maybe if this is me personally, I have in here, I would have much rather seen this match go another 5 minutes. I thought the O face out the gate was great. I thought Jade hitting that fucking spear, she's got one of the best spears in the business right now. I thought the back and forth action between the two, it just felt rushed. It was 4 fucking minutes. Like, honestly, if you're going to tell me, hey, you can have 20 minutes between these two matches, I want 10 and 10. This match would have had another 5 minutes. It may have dragged in a spot, but when this match finished, I wanted more. So, I mean, if they're going to run this one again, cool. But I don't think they're going to.
It was Jade's best match, in my opinion.
Jade's best match by far.
Yeah.
Since the Ty Conti match.
And this kind of goes back to, it's very clear she's put the work in. Like, we saw the video, what was it, 2 months ago of her working with Danielson. Mm-hmm. And I said to you guys, there's a moment in the match, because I'm watching it here as we go. There's a moment in the match where Jade takes Athena into the corner and hits one of the Claudio uppercuts. And it looked pretty damn vicious. And you add that and you add the spear in. And, like, it's clear that, like, she's busting it. AEW has a Jade Cargill problem, though. Mm-hmm. And it's a good problem but it's a problem that they do not have a way
answer
to
for.
fix. She should have been in the 4-way match, and she probably should be a double champion. And
Yes,
the
I have
problem
that in my
this-
notes
and-
later.
And the problem that this company has is there is not a single soul on that roster or who is a free agent currently who could stand in a ring and look like a formidable foe to Jade Cargill. The only woman that I can think of in pro wrestling who would stand across the ring and look comparable is Charlotte Flair. Maybe you could say Bianca, but that's it. Like that's your two. You get two.
I
Rhea
give it to
Ripley,
Bianca.
maybe Rhea on a stature, but like AEW doesn't have that. And so then it becomes, how do you beat her? The only person who could beat her right now is Britt Baker through shenanigans, right? And that would be implying that like the Jamie Hayter thing, the split isn't going to happen. Like the only way that anyone could beat Jade Cargill at this point is through some kind of shenanigans, because you just physically, you can't. There is nobody who matches up in any way. You don't have anybody who's like a Rey Mysterio, wicked fast, is going to kind of get her that way. There's just no way. There's nobody athletically who can hang with Jade.
That drop kick to the outside on Kiera Hogan was fucking nuts.
There's one person, and this is going to be me digging outside of AEW on this. Russ, if you get a chance at some point, doesn't have to be right now, look up Camille Brickhouse.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
She's that, to me, that's the comparability that you need. And if they have any working relationship with NWA, maybe a non-title match between the two of them, I think would be a really good show off for Jade, because Camille's really good in the ring, but it also gets more eyes on Camille. I think that would be a fair one between those. I didn't have a problem with it other than it being slightly short. And still, I think Athena was the sloppier one in the match yet again.
It's hard to say though, right? Because it looked like that, but like she's also there's that, and there's also like there were some timing issues that maybe are a Jade, like a timing and spacing thing.
We have now spent more time talking about this match than it actually went.
I will say, so I convinced my wife to watch this pay-per-view a little bit. She won't admit it, but she was in the room. I made the buff chick dip, and this match was on, and she knows that I've been a big Jade Cargill guy this whole time, and I always make the case that that's definitely Jade's hair. It's a weave. It's fine. It's a wig, whatever. But I always say that it's her real hair. And afterwards, she saw Jade's daughter, and I said, "Oh, that's Jade's daughter." She's like, "Wait, she's a mom?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Good for her." And now all of a sudden, I know that in her mind, she likes Jade Cargill. You don't get that a whole lot in pro wrestling, right? Women,
funny.
moms, pro wrestlers. Jade Cargill, she's amazing. I just don't know what you do with her. I was thinking this though, because I know this would be up Clint's alley. What if Jade Cargill starts going on a China run? Not saying for the TNT title, because there's not a title that makes sense for her to go after. But like Jade Cargill, in an effort to get more TV time, like starts saying like, "Cut the shit, I deserve more airtime." She starts taking out fringe guys. She starts taking out Dark Order guys. She starts taking out smaller guys. I love it. I think it'd be great.
All Atlantic title. If it ever gets off pack. There's no thing on that says that that's got to be a men's title.
Let's move on.
I don't know. Well, hold on. I don't know who said that in the comment, the thing about Hook. I don't want, like, obviously not Jade versus Hook. But can you imagine if like somebody down the line, like a QT Marshall, cheats his way into getting the FTW title, and Jade comes out and kicks his ass, and now she's like, I love it.
Yeah, that's
I love
great.
it.
We're gonna move on, because the next two matches really didn't need to be on the card. And let me read exactly what I wrote. Wardlow and FTR versus Lethal and Motor City Machine Guns didn't need to happen. I've watched this match twice now, and I can't remember shit outside of the powerbomb finish. Nothing match to exist on an already bloated card. The aftermath stuff was really cute, so at least there's that. I need more from FTR and Wardlow, and I need the TNT title to be defended on pay-per-view. Did I really clear that up for everyone? That match really didn't need to happen. And all it did was hurt 3 competitors in the match, and they were the ones who won.
Ooh, the little bit though with Okay,
Cute.
so Sanjay Dutt is almost perfect at what he does now, just being like the cowardly manager guy. He's really, really good at that. And so the little bit with Dax's daughter at the end and the breaking of the pencil, I thought that was a good thing for a crowd that was out of it. That was out of it, and they needed something. So I don't know who decided to do that, but that was a perfect time for that to happen. The match, meh, which sucks because Wardlow, money. FTR, money. Motor City Machine Guns, money. Jay Lethal, get him the fuck out of there.
Yeah, we got 30 minutes left in the show, so let's be cautious about what we spend too much time talking about.
In this show?
Yes. We're going till 10:30 tonight.
10:45. It's negotiable.
10:30. I've had a long weekend with barely any sleep.
Listen, Sanjay might be good at what he does, but he does not belong on AEW. He belongs behind the scenes, and he belongs on Ring of Honor. Everything that he does, it seems cheap. It just seems like a smaller promotion thing. There's no getting around it. That's it.
Here's another 5-minute match. Here's my exact notes for it. It's one sentence. Stark versus Powerhouse was a match.
Don't tell me that you're going to crap on this. You're crapping on this?
No. For 5 minutes? For a glorified squash? Yes. The match, arguably, that had your biggest build on it, the most time invested into it, out of all of them, the one the most story, with probably the exception of Jade and Athena, which has been building since Double or Nothing.
Christian and Jungle Boy, which I'm gonna rope these. We're gonna get to that point. There's one good thing about the Christian Jungle Boy thing, and that's Luchasaurus, and I know Russ is gonna talk about that. I want to put these two in the same boat, though. Their stories came above, they had a lot of backstory to them. And I don't think that they did either one of these guys justice on this. I don't think this match was bad because I think it's going to lead to there's more Ricky Starks. The story of Ricky Starks is just beginning. This is a stepping stone in his road. However, Powerhouse Hobbs, I think it was just a win on a pay-per-view, which was good for him, and it just continues the thing through. Ricky is going to hit rock bottom before he comes back up.
You guys are missing the point. I am going to fight for this match. This is a perfectly fine match between these two. You got a couple of things at play here, and they planted a seed for this. It was on a Rampage or it was on a Dynamite, where Ricky ran out to the ring to go, try to get into it with Hobbs, and Hobbs leveled him. Do we remember this? Mm-hmm. What you saw in this match was Starks doesn't come out in like the little tights or the trunks. What the hell is the difference? The trunks or the whatever. He comes out looking like he's ready to battle, right? He comes out guns blazing. He comes out looking like he's brawling. But there is still the need to make sure that Powerhouse Hobbs looks like a hoss and looks like a guy who would beat the hell out of somebody the size of Ricky Starks. And so what you had was moments of dominance from Hobbs. Starks got his moments in, and just when you wanted to believe, just when it felt like all of the psychology is telling you Ricky Starks, future world champion, kind of reminding you of like a mini Rock right now, like there's a lot of bright future for him. He speeds up, and he gets caught. And he gets caught in the big power move that whiplashes his neck, and that does it. And to me, it tells a perfect story. And it should be the setup of maybe a trilogy of matches where he's going to have to slow it down. He's going to have to figure out a way to attack Hobbs in a way that he doesn't open himself up for that kind of move to hit him like it did. Mm-hmm. I was disappointed that it didn't go longer, but I think the psychology of the match made a ton of sense, and I don't think either of these guys look worse for how it went down.
It's in hindsight, we might look back on this a lot more favorably than we do right now. I think that's open for interpretation.
And we can want more. And like, isn't that kind of the point though with some rivalries though, is like sometimes you have to have it wanting you to want more. If this goes, 25 minutes, do we really want to see the match again? Like, I don't know. You'd have to do a very different match.
I don't know. Fucking Kenny and Danielson went 30 minutes, and people have been clamoring for that rematch for a year.
Speaking of wanting more, I want more of the next match that happened.
Please allow me. Best match in the card by far. The second Keith Lee hit the pounce on Swerve, the match didn't let up. A star-making performance from Bowens, who is truly one of the best wrestlers going on the fucking circuit today. One of the best tag matches of the year. In my opinion, I've never said call an audible in a match, but you should have fucking called an audible. Also, good for Billy Gunn for getting the biggest pops of his career in his 40th year of wrestling. Scissor me daddy ass. Fucking Acclaimed for the tag titles at Arthur Ashe. I accept nothing else after this match. Bowens and fucking Caster are stars. They are the best, next to MJF right now, the most over homegrown stars you have on that roster. And the big thing you guys get shit for is, with the exception of fucking Jade,
Maybe you
everyone.
could put you might be able to put Wardlow in there.
Wardlow. But
He
Jade
has
and
cooled
Wardlow
off a lot, but
are your
yeah.
only two people that are homegrown champions in your company right now.
Mhm.
Put those fucking tag titles on the Acclaimed. That match was perfect. I wouldn't change a fucking thing about it. It was the only match this weekend that gave any fucking fight to Gunther and Sheamus for me. My second favorite match of the night, my favorite match of that day. Oh, favorite match of the weekend, second favorite match of that night.
On the Arthur Ashe thing on the Grand Slam, Tony Khan did say in the post
He's gonna do it again.
pay-per-view scrum that was something that he was looking at, and Keith Lee and Swerve, whether in character or not, really leaned into it as a these guys shouldn't just get another shot. Like, why did they just get to go back to the front of the line? I agree with you fundamentally that a call, an audible, could have been made. The only reason, though, that I think it would have made sense isn't just because of the way that the crowd was reacting, but I think we've seen enough times that there are questions about Bowen's ability to stay healthy. And so I worry that you missed out on an opportunity because, for better or worse, there is a chance that one of his knees gets tweaked again and he misses time. And this felt like a moment that you could, to your point, really crown a homegrown champion. And now if you do it at Arthur Ashe, will it be a really big reaction? Yes, it would be a much larger crowd. It's going to have the spectacle of being at Arthur Ashe. You really have to do a great job of continuing momentum with these guys. And if Swerve and Keith Lee are going to keep going to the, leave the stereotypes behind and, take things more seriously, all right, you have a few weeks here to build it, keep them fun and over. But now start to tell us a story. Start to use the video packages about these guys learning, about Bowens, the way that he did mat wrestling with Swerve to start the match. And there were a couple of those moments. Give me a video package about Bowens being hurt and fighting through the pain. Like, he did such a great job of selling in that match and making you truly believe that after he botched that spot off the middle rope, that he legitimately hurt himself. It changed the complexion of the match. It changed the way that the crowd reacted. It changed the way that every time Swerve went after that knee, how the crowd reacted. That's what really was the turning point. There's a lot of story to tell here. It's just a matter of, can you do it and can you do it well?
I think sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think if you want to bring those guys in and play up that whole, you can't just go back to the front of the line. You've got 2 weeks to build this match. Unfortunately, there's only 2 weeks to get there. There's 2 weeks, and then there's the third week out is the Grand Slam. I think this is one of those times where if you really want to get these guys hype, gauntlet match. AEW doesn't do a lot of gauntlet matches, and I think a gauntlet tag team match could move this ahead to where they have to face basically everybody but FTR. And that the only problem is, if you do it and you do have these, or you put them in a one-on-one with FTR, and if they come out on top, I don't think it cheapens FTR, but I think it definitely helps the Acclaimed.
FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns for the Ring of Honor titles at Grand Slam Night 2 on Rampage. That is my suggestion if you're not going to give them the tag belts. The only thing we wanted to see out of that 6-man tag was Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR. Just give us that. I think that'll be a very, very nice thing to give the crowd, especially if you're not going to give them FTR winning the belts. But I think this is the Acclaim's time. It happened overnight, but it is the Acclaim's time.
Sometimes overnight's not a bad thing, especially when if you catch fire and you have guys that have shown that they're hot anyway and a willingness to work while you're injured, because Bowens did that, and I appreciate that. He really Britt Bakered his way through that. But man, I loved it. It just my issue with the match is it once again continued the disappointment that the crowd showed at the end of it. AEW is known for kind of giving the fans what they want, and for the most part, they didn't fucking do it at all this pay-per-view.
Nope. No, but we'll move on.
It was a bold strategy, Cotton. Did it pay off?
We'll find out.
It sure felt like this killed the crowd.
Well, we'll move on to what
the match had people so high and had the crowd so hot that there was no coming back.
we're gonna move on to the next match, which I felt was the hardest match to have on that card following that tag match. Those poor four women had to follow that banger of a tag match. I would have honestly liked to see this match lose 5 minutes to give to Jade and Athena more time. Tony winning is the right decision, but the biggest problem with this match is that Jade is undefeated. She's obviously the number 1 ranked woman for the women's title. Why was she not in the match? Double champ. If you're asking my opinion of what should happen next, Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter is your match for Arthur Ashe.
That's a problem, though. There you have your two baby faces against each other, because what was very clear online and in this match is that the crowd was really behind Jamie Hayter.
This could be the turning point, though. This could be like Britt cost Jamie the belt, and then Jamie finally fucking snaps.
It could be, but like, I guess the counterpoint is, what were we complaining about going into this with the original card? Why would you have Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm, two baby faces who have teamed up together going against each other? And if you're,
I would imagine Thunder would have turned on her.
I don't know.
We had 2 weeks. We didn't know what was going to happen. They could have fucking.
I don't know if Thunder Rosa would have ever been aware enough to go heel. She's Latina Cody Rhodes, so
I was fully behind Jamie Hayter as well. It's no offense to Tony Storm, but Jamie Hayter would have been my personal opinion, because I think the story there with Britt, her winning that and over Britt, is more effective to the storytelling than it is having Tony win it and then having Tony have to go against a baby face to come out of that. Plus, Jamie's a person that if you had her against Jade, she can take the pin, and it's kind of whatever. I like Jamie Hayter, but Jade Cargill's the future. Let's be honest.
Here's the problem with Tony winning this when Baker's in the match is the only time that the only time that I've cared about what Thunder Rosa does in this company is when she's been across from Britt Baker. And you can even make the case, I guess, the other way, that like the only time that people have really seemed to, I guess, really get behind Britt Baker in the last few months has been when she's been in the ring across from Thunder Rosa. They're so tied to each other. Tony Storm winning is fine. It's just, what's the story now? You know, even she said in the scrum after, she said, well, Thunder says she's hurt. So I guess when she says she's not hurt, then we'll fight. Mm-hmm. Like, the amount of rumors that have been going around about Thunder, like, I don't know. I think that you could have just gone with like the real life nuclear heat between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, and then had Jamie Hayter costs Britt Baker at Arthur Ashe and Tony Storm wins, because we saw Britt Baker try to steal the pin from Tony Storm on Jamie Hayter. Like, there's your moment. There's your reason that Jamie Hayter turns on Britt Baker. I think that Tony Khan did not want to veer from the original plan, which was Tony to win at this pay-per-view. I just don't know where you come up with a cohesive storyline from here.
We'll see on Wednesday.
Yeah, I guess we will.
Or maybe in 2 weeks on Rampage. Who knows?
I don't know. On to another thing that happened on the show. One really good thing, one really fucking confusing thing. So the next match that was up on the card was Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage, and it's a match, if you can call it that.
Well, Russ called it. Luchasaurus turned. He came out and murdered Jungle Boy with a choke slam on the stage. Great. Power bottom through a table. Christian hit a spear and then a kill switch. 4 moves in total. 20 seconds bell to bell. The end.
Yeah, but Luchasaurus is heel again, and that's good. That's a good thing. And I think a lot of this had to do with Christian's elbow injury.
Yes, that is exactly why.
But
honestly,
it's fine.
Go ahead. Like, it's fine. It's 20 seconds.
It's fine, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Luchasaurus as a heel makes so much more sense than Luchasaurus as Jungle Boy's BFF. Continue to make him the guy who's gonna like. You can now lean into this. If Christian is really hurt, which is what it sounds like, then have Luchasaurus be the guy who does all of Christian Cage's bidding from now until Christian Cage is healthy. Let him be the muscle. Christian
Jungle Boy's
Cage
gotta
talks
get
the
through
talk, and
Lucha.
Luchasaurus walks the walk.
Jungle Boy's got to get through Luchasaurus to get to Christian again.
I think my favorite part of this is after he hits the kill switch and he pins him. He looks at Jungle Boy's mom and blows a kiss to her. I did like that. Christian's character work is still fantastic, and that really proves that he is a vet, and he is the vet that he needs to be. And then we get into the second best match on the card.
No, the worst match on the card. Jericho and Danielson was a steaming pile of dog shit.
I think it was better than that.
I think it's Danielson's worst match in AEW.
Yeah,
I
but when you
fucking hate it.
constantly put out banger after banger after
let me
after
point out a
banger,
few
if
things
you have
here.
a bad match and it's still good.
As
It's like
I
being
said-
Back to the Future 2. You're the best movie out of a really fucking awesome trilogy.
Where
Or
the
you're the
fuck
worst
is
movie
it?
out of
Shut the fuck up!
You keep talking and you don't let people say their points.
You interrupted
me.
me. on the last
That's me.
one. I was in the middle of saying something and you started rambling on.
You cut me off.
All right,
the
I'm going to
worst
serve as
match.
mediator here. I'm going to serve as mediator. All right.
It's the
You-
worst
you both
fucking
have-
match on the card.
I've made more
20
money
have-
for this
you both
company.
have
Well, maybe not
opinions.
you.
20
both
20
have
fucking
opinions.
20-minute time limit, my ass. That shit was slow and sloppy to the point where it was the longest match on the card. That match felt like it was an hour and a half long. That match sucked. It just is the whole vortex of Jericho where he just takes someone who's super talented and he sucks all the fucking talent out of them to where they're opening the fucking pre-show. I'm tired of Jericho. I'm tired of the same plotting Jericho storylines and Jericho matches. It's the same fucking shit. And the fact that this was the only match on the card with a screwy finish, it had to be Jericho's match. It had to be. It had to be fucking Jericho's match. I hated this match. Fuck this match.
Clint, can I ask you a question really quick? This
Go
is
ahead.
Related to nothing. If John Moxley were to hold a position in like a trade, what would he be likely to be?
John Moxley like a trade? Like, I don't understand that kind of shit. Like, you talking draft picks and shit?
No, I'm saying like would he
Like
be
a
like an
plumber.
electrician? Would he be like a plumber? Like what do you think John Moxley would be?
Moxley would probably be a carpenter.
Okay, I was just double checking because it felt like for a second I was listening to Jim Cornette, so I just wanted to make sure really quickly that, you got your. Okay, Ethan.
I like getting
Why-
a fucking
why-
rise out of Clint because that's what I want to see out of you when it comes
That
to
match
when it comes to
fucking
this
sucked.
shit. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see you get hype about something like that. I actually thought the match itself was fine. The problem is, it was a Chris Jericho match. If this match went on and not at this point in this, because the crowd's fucking dead, I'm dead watching this. I didn't need this slog to happen. Match goes on second after the ladder match. Fine, I'm fine with it. I think this match suffered a lot due to the positioning in the card as what it was. For a technical wrestling match, it wasn't bad. It was a Dynamite level match, though, not a pay-per-view quality match. You give it to me on a Wednesday for free, cool, whatever.
So here's where you guys are. I don't know if it's even missing the mark. Danielson, since he's come back from the concussion, has done one thing aesthetically that I think has made him look way worse. He looks like he's aged 20 years. He stopped going with like the very well-kept beard and man bun, and he's gone to this like shaved sides and like let the hair down. And to me, he's looked way older. I don't know why. He just looks weathered in the face. And so he doesn't have that same pop. I hate to point out the fact that 9 months ago, Bryan Danielson was the best heel going in AEW and arguably in all of professional wrestling. And because Tony Khan decided that we were going to have this bullshit with, Kenny Omega dropping the belt to Hangman Page, that we couldn't call an audible and put the belt on the best heel in the business and let Bryan Danielson do what he does and carry the company for a few months and see if you could attract more viewers to your program. And instead, now you've got this. And I don't know what the hell they're doing with Danielson, because as much as I complain and would probably complain going forward about how Malachi Black has been booked with 2 consecutive pins being taken, Bryan Danielson lost to Daniel Garcia in a match that I don't think elevates Daniel Garcia the way they want it to. And now he loses this match to Jericho. And I sit here going, what's the point? What's the point in any of this? And how do you build Bryan Danielson back up? Like, is the goal here not to build him up? Is he now going to be like the guy that younger talent, Jericho notwithstanding, is going to like put guys over? Like, what's the point?
I don't know.
What am I
Jericho's
missing,
not
Clint?
doing anything. Jericho's not doing anything besides sucking the fucking talent out of the fucking room. Danielson can go out there. He had a better match with Hager on Dynamite than he had with Jericho at this pay-per-view.
But seriously, like, what are they doing with Danielson? Like, what's the thought? What's the vision?
Hopefully, it's MJF winning the belt, and then we're getting Danielson and MJF as a program. Because I feel like that could be a good all-out match.
It would be, but they're gonna have to build Danielson back up to that. Like, I don't think he's like one win away from being, white hot again.
He's not. He's gonna need a few matches with the BCC. If I'm being honest with you, a couple 6-mans.
Which, hey, there's another point really quick. When you think about how they booked this tournament, this trios tournament, how does the BCC not get involved?
Danielson was injured. Yuta and Claudio were just 2 people, and Moxley was the world champ. So you only had 3 people to run. And Moxley was world champion and doing world.
You pulled the trigger on the Daniel Garcia potentially swapping spots.
But I think
you bring in somebody.
But I think you needed Danielson for that. And Liam Moriarty would have been my next choice, but he's already been taken up by the Bivens crew.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to the next match.
Clint admitted he was wrong while you were gone there, Ethan.
I did not.
He said that
No,
he loves
I
Chris
don't-
Jericho in every Jericho match, and that he's sorry that he was so angry about it.
No, Clint, look, my goal is to get you fired up because you're better when you're fired up. When you start getting kind of like nonchalant, I don't want to say lackadaisical about anything, but you start getting nonchalant in your commentary, it starts to slow down. When you bring that fire, you bring the fucking points.
Well, then let's move through this shit.
Better.
Well, let's move through this shit so we
one.
can get to the main event. Let's blow through this match like it should not have been on the card, like a few other matches here. Here's my notes from last night. At this point, I'm fucking exhausted. We are in hour 7 of wrestling today. Jericho and Danielson, to me, just killed the mood. I want to go to bed. And Sting must be losing his aura because I couldn't give a fuck about this match. A fine trios match, but nothing I haven't seen in the past 7 Sting pay-per-view matches. The Sting 6-man formula has run its course.
However, Sting does look really fucking good for his age and moves really fucking well for being 62 or 63 years old. I'm salty because I felt like shit after going through that board, and this man's out here just not doing it. That's all I got. House of Black should have been in the trios match. Boom, bada bing, bada boom.
I just want to point out the fact that, again, this was about a year ago. Malachi Black was the hottest accidental babyface in a program with Cody Rhodes that led people to boo Cody Rhodes so badly that he left to go to WWE. And Miro was in the midst of a dominant TNT title run, I think. And if he wasn't, whatever. And you could have conceivably looked at this and said, that's a hell of a main event program. And when the All Atlantic Championship match went down at, what was it, Forbidden Door? Mm-hmm. We said, wow, look at Malachi and Miro work together. That would be a hell of a program. And what's happening now? Malachi is probably going to go away for 6 months. And we don't know what's happening with Miro. There's no real vision or plan. Is he going after the world title? I
need some direction in my life.
This comes back to a problem. I feel like Tony Khan now is a worse booker than he was a year ago, which is arguably a worse booker than he was the year before. He has somehow gone backwards, and none of this makes sense. I'm so sad that this match happened the way that it did, and I'm even sadder that Malachi Black has been rendered effectively useless,
neutered
in this booking. It's
neutered.
horrific.
And then
that's what happens when you don't feature talent on TV consistently, and you just kind of let them become a fringe thing that shows up every 5 weeks.
All right, let's go over this match real quick. This next one, I have it here because I've watched Punk and Moxley twice. It's a slugfest, submission hold fest where Punk bleeds a lot, and Punk eventually gets the win with 2 GTSs. But here in my notes, who gives a fuck at this point? We all just want MJF. This match is fine. almost fucking midnight. The match has ended. Punk won with 2 GTSs. MJF came out. Thank fucking God for MJF.
The end of this pay-per-view and where anything got interesting at was when the hand hit the mat for the 3 count, and then everybody waited on bated breath to see what was going to happen next. When those lights went out and that voicemail started and the Ring of Honor thing played, was the voicemail played or the video played first?
It was the voicemail first.
When the voicemail played, that was the icing on a cake that has been in the oven for 4 fucking months, 3.5 months. And Clint can attest, I'm jumping up and down in my living room. That was
annoying the piss out of me. I was tired.
I was dead after the acclaimed swerve match. I was fucking dead until the end of this match happened.
Mm-hmm.
We got fucking Trevor just sitting there trying to talk over the voicemail. Like, he's just like, it's MJF, it's MJF, and it's MJF's like, motherfucker, we're trying to hear what he's saying.
I believe that this is MJF who is on the voice.
So, really funny to watch the crowd. I watched this end of match and the fallout no fewer than 15 times since yesterday. And it's amazing to watch the crowd after Punk wins in that, like, the pop's not that big. And you watch as more than half the crowd behind him is looking at the ramp. Now, have AEW audiences been too conditioned to expect something to happen? Were they conditioned to expect something big to happen after what happened at All Out last year? Maybe. But if you want to make an argument that AEW and CM Punk are at a crossroads, this is pretty much it. Because Punk's ovation on Dynamite in Chicago was weird and not that loud. You had a split crowd with Moxley. At the pay-per-view, you probably had a 60-40 split in favor of Punk. Mm-hmm. The match ends, and people aren't totally invested because they're hoping and praying something happens. I got to a point where I just kept sitting there thinking to myself, like, I don't want to expect something big to happen here because I'm going to be very disappointed if it just ends like this. Mm-hmm. And I just kept coming back to, they have talked about the Joker so many times throughout the pay-per-view. They have to bookend it. They have to, because otherwise the idea of, well, check out Dynamite on Wednesday and see if the Joker shows up. Like, this was so well done. The voicemail was perfection. Mm-hmm. And it's perfection because Tony Khan has put himself out there so much that you know who he is, for better or worse. You know what he sounds like. You can hear him actually leaving this exact voicemail. It is totally within any appearance he's ever done on a podcast. That makes sense. Going back to the line that MJF used on Punk when they're about to hang him over the ropes in Jacksonville, that clip that they ended up showing from ROH, it was so well done. The only problem I had is I don't think they needed to do the video. I think it would have been more effective if you had done a spotlight and you had him mic'd up, mm-hmm. and he reveals on the ramp. You got the pop was incredible, and the pop tells you everything you need to know about that crowd and how they feel about MJF
and how they feel about CM Punk.
Yep.
I would love for us to talk about the presser, but we do not have enough time. The presser we can probably talk about Thursday.
I'll hang out and talk with the
I would hang out. Like, I don't know how you could, I don't know how we could tap out. Like, it's,
I can't tap.
We can if we can get it in 10 minutes. Cool. I can do it.
Fine. But like, because the post is what leads us to why people come back to the show on Thursday, because Dynamite. No, because Wednesday's show is made that much more important, for better or worse, because of everything that happened after the fact.
I am just so there. I have one last thing to say about the MJF thing. I used to say, hey, he's the next Piper. No, fuck it. He just had his Stone Cold moment. That was his Stone Cold moment, because doing this to the crowd did nothing to them. It made them louder. It made them want him more. It had the exact opposite reaction. And it brings us to the presser and Jericho's comments about MJF.
Yes, it does. because that seems to be the thing that got overshadowed, and I can't believe hasn't gotten more traction today, is that Jericho admits that he had talked to MJF prior to the return, and he told him that when you come back, you are going to be the biggest babyface in the world. And MJF said, I don't want that. Like, how do I avoid it? Like, I don't want to be a babyface. And Jericho said, you're going to be whether you want to be or not, because once they hate you as much as they have hated you, they are going to love you. There's no other way around this. And so I feel like that flipping off the crowd was MJF trying one last time to see if he was right and Jericho was wrong. Can I turn these people against me? And it didn't work. And so now this is like where we get into that, the psychology going down the road. Like, you have to double turn. You have to.
It's going to happen. I think that belt's going on him and Arthur Ashe. I think it's going on him as quick as possible.
3 weeks, and they had to do it with Punk, because if he beats Moxley for the belt, it means nothing.
Or what is it? Fucking Full Gears in New Jersey.
Yeah. The only way that you could try to keep MJF as a heel is by keeping this group aligned with him. You could just as easily cut ties with the Stokely group, keep the Stokely group together, but not with MJF, as like he used some of the money that Khan paid him. He hired them as mercenaries because he knew what he wanted and he knew how he was going to get Punk back.
But I know you're not as well versed in the indie scene as probably Ethan and I are, but MJF and Stokely
go back
way back. Yeah. Like way back. He was his manager for a long time. He was one of the people that MJF, like, even like in interviews, like, I love Stokely. Love him. So this, like, that part makes all the sense in the world that he's going to align himself with Stokely. I would like, honestly, I might be the only person here, I would love to see Shawn Spears in this group, because I think MJF and Shawn Spears are great together.
I almost wanted to see, and I could have made a case that if you're going to keep this group around, that a rivalry that leads to blood and guts against BCC or the BCC would be awesome, because you could figure out a way to have Wardlow and Morrissey against each other. You'd have MJF and Mox against each other. You would have FTR and the Ass Boys against each other. Like, I think there's a really interesting way to book this. I think that the story to be told, if they do it right, is that CM Punk replaces MJF at the top of the pinnacle. I think your problem, though, is if you're going to try to turn Punk heel, you can't turn Wardlow and FTR heel. The crowd will never go for it. I think that they've kind of boxed themselves in a bit. I don't know how they get out of it. I'm interested to see. That's why you come back on Wednesday, you know?
You guys remember that scene, though, speaking of the press conference, where Jimmy the King is getting his ass beat by the entire WCW roster in the 2001 Seminole Classic, Ready to Rumble? Because I think if Punk keeps running his fucking mouth, we're going to get an actual recreation of a WCW movie in an AEW ring, where it's just going to be Hangman and the Bucks and fucking Kingston and Kenny and just Danielson and all these people that Punk has talked shit about, with fucking Khan just laying in the ring going, I'm finished with you. I'm done with you. I see it. I can fucking see that clear as day.
I think Ethan and I are about to agree on something. Go ahead, Ethan. What are you thinking?
I'm so because art imitates life. There's parts of what Punk is saying that I think he truly believes. The stuff about Cole, I think that is something he truly believes, and I don't have a problem with that because his personal experiences play into that. So that's whatever that stuff. I thought it was a little far to be saying a lot of that information out there. I didn't think that was necessary, considering that's not the person that he's going against on screen. However, I understand because of the stuff that had come out beforehand. My issue is, you've come to a point where you're now blurring the lines, and kayfabe's dead, so we don't have to worry about that. But you're blurring the lines between real life and real life wrestling, real life. And what you do now is you have somebody that you wanted the fans to be endeared to so much that the turn is already happening. Punk's already on the heel and he's on the downturn with the fans. The fans are already turning on him because you're putting him against MJF. So at that point, nobody else is going to pick up on the Punk bandwagon. You're not going to have fans of it. But how far does he go now? Because now he's starting to alienate the rest of the roster. He's making those Triple H comments seem real from all those years ago. He's doing all of this. And I don't think, if he means this truly, he doesn't see where he's wrong in this at all. I don't know how you're Tony Khan and you sit in, and if this is him speaking out as a shoot, how you sit next to him and let him continue to speak and let him continue to alienate the rest of the roster. I know how much money Punk has brought into the company, but guess what? He's old and he's not going to be bringing that money in for long. So you have a real fucking big problem if you're Tony, and you need to fix this for the longevity of this. Otherwise, you're tiptoeing that WCW line finer and finer every single day.
Yeah, but like the counterpoint is that if you say something and if you tell him to stop, he can just as easily berate you. And then what? I mean, he could make the entire house of cards collapse in on Tony Khan in that moment. It's almost better to let him say his piece and then do damage control in the aftermath than to try to like get in the way of it. I think that like the problem that I run into is I wasn't a fan when CM Punk was on his run. I saw none of it. I have no emotional connection. I have no nostalgia. And I don't have any nostalgia or any knowledge of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega before they started AEW. So as a neutral third-party bystander, I sit back and I say, who's better for your company right now? Who gives you more mass appeal? And who ultimately can potentially get you into a better position to be competition or quasi-competition with WWE? And I think it's Punk. I think that like from a match and work rate, well, okay, fine, it's the Elite. But I don't disagree with a lot of what Punk said. I think that like whether he really hates Hangman Page or not, I think that the comment that Page made, I think I said it on this show before, the comment about like not needing to listen or to field advice is one of the dumbest, most bullshit things I've ever seen a professional wrestler say. And it speaks to absolute naivete. And I think it's insane. And I think he's right to call it out. I think he's right to call out the EVPs because they're EVPs in title alone. And, you know, you said earlier, they created trios titles to crown themselves, you know, almost as a make good for taking themselves out of the tag tournament when the company started. I don't know. Like, I don't know how we sit here and say that Punk's wrong about what he said. You know, you say what you're going to say. You're going to feel how you're going to feel. Do we want these moments in press conferences or do we not? Do you want to hear from the horse's mouth, or do you want to continue to rely on dirt sheets to tell you what the whispers are saying is being said? You know? You got to pick one way or the other.
We're going to see how this part unfolds later this week. We're going to see how Dynamite is, and we'll bring you guys updates on this situation because it is a big thing.
Were you happy that he said any of this? Like, did you?
No, I was not. I was actually kind of embarrassed for the company that their top guy would go out on a press conference and start spewing all this shit.
Okay, but like on the Hangman thing, right? Like he very clearly said that the reason he did what he did was because Hangman did his thing and went into business for himself.
Shame on Hangman.
Okay, that's what I was got. Because if
deal with it in the back room, don't bring it out in the public.
If you've been at the pinnacle of the biggest company and you come in, you're brought in to be big money guy, grow the company, and you have this young guy who says he doesn't want to take any criticism or take any feedback, and he's the one who goes out and blasts you on national TV. I don't know how you don't say something. You know what I mean? I think it should have been face-to-face in the ring, but like, I don't know how you don't say something.
I don't know, man. It was
because I didn't hate what he said. I just don't know if it was the right time, like you said.
But when is the right time? You know,
that's where you play with this art, sport, whatever you want to call this, is such a difficult thing. I know Clint wants to wrap this stuff up, and I'm fine with that. It's my one thing is if you are going to have this fracas, we'll call it, happen after this, you have to treat that with the same gloves that you treated the Eddie Kingston stuff with.
Yeah.
That's where I'm confused. If he comes out and he doesn't do that, I know it's star power. That's where you're going to start to lose locker room guys, because if that shit's real, then you have to treat everybody with that, and it's going to suck on your Dynamite thing. But it might not. It might not.
Unless it's not real. Unless
If it's not real, then I'm
Or
fine with it. Whatever.
here's your easy storyline. Punk actually did get into an altercation. He does get suspended, just like Kingston did. And now MJF shows up on Wednesday, and MJF says, Punk is so afraid of me that he went out and started all this shit so he'd get himself suspended so that we couldn't have a match at Arthur Ashe. He's going to try to duck me. He says, I don't care about people. Tony Khan says, I don't care about people. CM Punk's supposed to be the voice of the voiceless, and he did anything he could to avoid me.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
And if it does that, then great. This has been one of the best storytelling that came around and slapped us in the face when we weren't even looking. And I'd be happy with that. I would.
Yep.
So I guess we're gonna find out on Wednesday.
Yeah, and on Wednesday we'll be back here on Thursday because there's Raw's on right now, and I can tell you it's really a nothing show outside of the fact that Braun Strowman's back.
He showed up?
Yeah, he showed up. So he's no longer working for the greatest professional wrestling company, Control Your Narrative.
How long into the show did Braun Strowman show up?
About an hour. He interrupted the 4-way tag to crown number 1 contenders.
Yeah, like 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Is he coming back with what was the kid's name that he won the tag titles with? The
No, he did not come back with him. All right. I'm wrapping this up, boys. It has been 11 hours of wrestling across 2 days. I'm tired. Golf took a lot out of me. I'm ready for a deep sleep. But I want to give one big shout out here because I started lifting in my finding a new job shit. And on Sunday morning, I picked up a couple from a gun range. They asked me to take them to the bank, and we were all just sitting there shooting the shit. And they asked about my business cards that were up in the front. Told them I do a wrestling podcast and I was lifting so we could have some money for the fucking pay-per-view tonight. She looked at me and said, how much is the pay-per-view? I said, it's $50. She took a $50 bill out of her purse and gave it to me and said, here's your pay-per-view. Enjoy your night. So I want to give a big shout out to Mia, who was a wonderful, wonderful person who actually paid for us to watch the pay-per-view. One little good story I want to bring out of this shit.
And who was this person in relation to you again?
I drove her around on Lyft. I knew her for all of 15 minutes.
You know what? I think that this just speaks to the privilege that exists in this country. And I'm just kidding. That's great. Nice job, Mia.
Nice.
Here's Russ's real heel turn.
But I am PK Batman, Clinton Davis. You can find me at Twitter there. To my right is Ethan Hubbard. You can find him at Jensen Collins 3. Beneath us is Russell Joy from Snow the Goalie podcast. You can find him at Joy on Broad. You can find us at On a Forklift Pod on Twitter, On a Forklift Wrestling Podcast on YouTube, On a Forklift Wrestling Pod on Twitch. You can find us Thursdays at 9 p.m. on UPN. And you know how we're going to end this because I know Russ wasn't here initially to see it. So here you guys go one more time.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hi. This is it. This is what everyone fucking paid for. Put this stupid dumb motherfucker through a table. So Ethan, do you have anything to say?
Thanks to everybody for doing this. I made this and didn't expect it to happen, and then I got drunk and moved the goalposts, so now it's happening. The rest of that is, I'm Ethan from On a Forklift, so watch us Thursday nights on Twitch.
Nope, we're gonna do heels on. Ready? Yep. Go ahead, get under.
Ready? Yep.
Storm.
We love you, Judy.
I just wanted to see you get hurt one more time. Good night, everyone. We love you,
Get
Judy.
the tagline in.
We had to get the tagline in. You want to hear the original plan before we go? Is if he didn't move, like he was splat, I was going to fade out the video and then cut to an in memoriam of Ethan to open up the show. And then we were going to bring on Ethan as Peethan. He got banned again. Okay. We were going to bring Ethan on as Peethan, and he was going to be like, guys, I feel like I already know you so well. And we're going to do like the whole beer fest thing when they replaced the brother after he died with his brother.
It could have just been like Elias and Ezekiel.
Yeah, we could have just
This
had
could have
Ethan
been
Shea for a
Eldrick
podcast.
Hubbard.
I have
Eldrick
to
Hubbard.
shave in 2 weeks for a fucking fit test anyway, so I'll just have a glorious mustache and no beard.
Eldrick Hubbard. We found him in the cupboard.
Get us to 50 subs by the end of September. I will go through a table covered in thumbtacks and Legos.
How about just Legos?
Nah.
Thumbtacks and Legos. Good night, everybody.
I'll fly out to Michigan for that.